Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Sound check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports live thoughts coverage. Before I begin, don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section as always. We appreciate you. As of all the topics I could have spoken about tonight and want to talk about, I could have spoken about Rigondeaux and Lomachenko. I could talk about Golovkin and Canelo. I could talk about Crawford and Ndogo. And I probably will talk about those things later on in different videos. But this particular topic, outside of the usual stuff that come with BWTM, David Price is a topic that I have studied and been quite close to for a number of years. And strangely enough, the one man in world heavyweight boxing I haven't interviewed, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Bermane Stiverne. So most of them interviewed. Anthony Joshua side I haven't interviewed, but I've had dealings with either the heavyweight champion of the world or the number one contenders, or Brian Jennings, Seth Mitchell. I've been around about the heavyweight division. But David Price has been one I followed with particular interest because of Audley Harrison and the connection there, an old college friend, and a member of my family was involved with his career. So there was connection there to David Price, but I never actually interviewed David Price. And I'll tell you how this all pans out, the story so far, and why I want to talk to you about it tonight. Because it's a topic of still, people are very dismissive. Hello, Anthony. People are very dismissive of David Price, and I can understand why. He was built up onto a pedestal. He was put in a position where he was going to be the heir to the Klitschko's, and he was given a real big build-up, before his time, and those expectations were way above what he was performing with at the time, and so therefore when he fell pretty badly. So let's take you back in time and how I've been connected to this David Price story and how I followed the story quite intensely. I'll take you back to when David Price fought Audley Harrison. That's where I really started the story for me, became a matter for me of interest. And I looked at David Price's amateur career, and I knew that in his amateur career, he showed vulnerabilities around his chin. He'd actually fought in the amateurs against Bermane Stiverne. and Stiverne, who is a regular on the channel. Now, again, I'll put the dots together, and it might be a bit here and there, but I'm going to put it all together. So anyway, David Price knew I was hearing stories about him, you know, behind the scenes. Kubrat Pulev had been working him over in sparring and giving him a difficult time. The amateur days of stoppages he had in amateurs. Of course, Tyson Fury, when I interviewed his trainer, Franny Smith at the time, who was training David Price. But let's not get to that point. Let's get to the Audley Harrison fight. So anyway, Audley and him are set to fight. I looked at this situation. I looked down the camera and said, you know what? What I've seen of Price in the amateur days, Price hasn't improved that much as a professional. And I think Audley stands a good chance of winning this fight. He's a southpaw. And I think Audley can walk him onto the straight left hand. Surprise, surprise. My thinking was Audley was a little older, a bit wily, a bit cagey. I thought that'd be the perfect type of guy who's going to throw punches back at David Price. And, well, David Price went out there and did a number on Audley, took him out in the first round. He looked really explosive that night. I thought, okay. And everyone was there laughing. Ah, ha, 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 ha. You thought Audley was going to win the fight, didn't you? And there was always there in the comment section, the Price fans who got very carried away. Oh, you know, Price is this and Price is that and Price is this. And I watched, said, all right, fine. And it's not that I didn't believe in David Price, but there were certain things I wanted to see him overcome as an amateur in his pro career. And I didn't think he'd pass those tests, blowing people out and around. The Matt Skelton fight where Skelton was running his chest real quickly and looked very uncomfortable. I thought to myself, I'm not too sure about this performance. Then came the Tony Thompson fight. Now, based on the thunderous power of David Price, I said to myself, well, Klitschko messed around with Tony Thompson, and I think that Price is probably a more aggressive version than Klitschko. What I didn't bank on is, again, it happened to be a southpaw, a tricky, wily, cagey southpaw, experienced, older Tony Thompson, who actually ends up decking David Price. Now I want to bring in the power of social media, pundits, commentators. Before the Tony Thompson fight, many pundits and a few boxers, people close to David Price, said that he was ready to be the next heavyweight champion of the world. He was going to destroy Tyson Fury. He was going to do this and he was going to do that. Okay, fine. I wasn't particularly on that bandwagon. I just want to see Price prove himself. So there you are at Liverpool. Price on the canvas. The Liverpool crowd stunned. Tony Thompson, considered by one expert that was a lucky punch. Don't know what was lucky about it. And that expert, pundit, said they should go and have an immediate rematch. I wasn't so sure about an immediate rematch. At the time, Price had the emotional Frank Maloney. Prior to that fight, 2 days before that fight, there was an interview I was due to have with Price's manager, Frank Maloney. Now, in the build-up to that fight, I had already interviewed Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury had predicted the demise of David Price, saying that he didn't have what it took to be a world heavyweight champion and that he wasn't a fighting man. This is what Tyson had said way back when I first interviewed Tyson back in 2012. It was my first interview I did with Tyson. And he, although he was joking, Tyson went in depth and explained exactly his thoughts about David Price. He broke it down and was very clear about David Price and what he thought of David Price. I'm seeing you on the comment section, and I swear we'll get to you, but I do want to tell you this story. I want it to be very clear because there's a lot of misunderstandings about what this story is about, and I want to clear it up. And I'll explain why I'm clearing it up as well, so people know the story. So anyway, I interviewed Tyson, and then I think the next day I interviewed Franny Smith. And Franny Smith said, at the time, we'll walk through Tyson Fury. Fury had booked to go and fight Cunningham. Do you remember? And before the Thompson fight, they wanted to take on a fight that was better than Fury. They wanted to take on the second number one, the number two, or number one heavyweight in the world outside of Klitschko. At the time was Tony Thompson, who just got defeated by Klitschko, or who recently been defeated by Klitschko. And so they took Thompson, Fury took Cunningham, and when I interviewed Fury, he was going to Cunningham. And there was a bit of a fracas because Franny Smith said that they would walk through Fury. The Fury team weren't happy about it, and that caused a bit of fracas again between Fury and Price's team. Anyway, I'm not to blame for that. I did interview both sides. Whatever happens with that, chips may fall. I only did an interview. Moving on from that. So Price, we're back in Liverpool. Price is on the canvas. Pundits say, oh, well, Price should, immediate rematch with Thompson. It was a lucky punch. Right there and then, right there at that point in time, they should have stopped button and they should have assessed it. They should have said, look, you've just got beat by Tony Thompson. Are you really ready for this level? Have you been rushed to this level? Now, I know this is all hindsight, but I'm getting to a point here. Stop. You've been beaten. Let's assess it. Let's have a good look at it. Let's pay Tony Thompson the credit that he deserved. Got you a good shot. Got knocked out. You weren't even in the fight. Okay. So what do you decide to do? I said, David Price, after that first defeat, I said, when all the world, most of the world was saying Price is finished and he's done, I said, you need to leave Liverpool. I said, you need to get yourself a hypnotherapist, sports psychologist to work on your mindset, to strengthen your mind because you're mentally weak. You need to leave Liverpool. You need to find yourself a world-class trainer. And you need to dedicate yourself to the sport of boxing like never before and remove yourself from Liverpool. Well, what happened? Mr. Price went to Europe, I believe. If I'm correct. Was it after the second Thompson fight? He fought Thompson again anyway. He went and fought Thompson in an immediate rematch because it was a lucky punch. Well, he still had Frank Maloney in his corner, and Frank Maloney is more nervous than Price himself. And we all know what happened in the fight. The rematch had Lennox Lewis heavily in the fight. But Lennox had wanted, from what I understood, Lennox wanted Price in Canada with him to train. From what I understand, I don't know how true this is, Price didn't want to commit himself to Canada. And there were other rumors that Lennox wasn't there around the time. It was giving him enough mentoring. I don't know the ins and outs of that because I wasn't there. Anyway, I'll make sure I don't miss anything out in this story. So anyway, Lennox is there, and I was very critical at the time. I thought, okay, Lennox Lewis, former world heavyweight champion, sure, he could be a mentor. Sure, he could tell you what he did to become world heavyweight champion. But when did Lennox defeat a southpaw in his world heavyweight reign? He didn't. And who's to say Lennox Lewis is a good trainer? Because you're a great champion doesn't make you a good trainer. It's a assumption because somebody's a great fighter makes him a good trainer. Doesn't mean you've got the ability to teach him what you can do. And Lennox himself was a very relaxed guy, very relaxed, very chill, mellow guy. But he's a different type of fighter. Lennox was far more gifted, naturally athletic, different mindset, different mentality, and mentally very strong. Polar opposites, obviously, to David Price. And I'm not dissing David Price because I'm, believe it or not, a big supporter of David Price. And what I'm going to say is going to shock a lot of people at the end. But anyway, the rematch comes and he fights Tony Thompson for the second time. And there's certain things I want you to pay attention to. Through the Thompson fight, people only remember Price laying up against the ropes, exhausted, and taking a beating of Thompson. What they failed to recognize is that even in the defeat to Thompson, he was able to drop Thompson heavily in the fight. Okay, and he showed a bit of fighting heart there. Again, he was rushed into that rematch. He wasn't a world heavyweight champion. There was no immediate rematch necessary. This was caused by the public, social media, and certain pundits. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a mandatory they had to take on. The media, the Twitter bandwagon, the irresponsible people suggested Price take that rematch, which caused more damage. So those two fights, you could say, were the most damaging defeats to Price's career, and really took the soul away from David Price. So okay, he then comes back after the defeat to Thompson, gets an American trainer in Tommy Brooks, one of the best trainers in the world, trained some of the best in the world. Brooks. Now, this is something that I'm telling you that I know because I've interviewed Tommy Brooks on a number of occasions. And one of the reasons why I interviewed Tommy Brooks was two-sided. I wanted to know what his thoughts was on David Price and what his thoughts were on Tyson Fury. Fury, by that time, had won the World Heavyweight Championship. Price was trying to rebuild his career, and he basically said to me, David Price, he doesn't listen to what I say. I give him an instruction to do something, he does his own thing. This is Tommy Brooks. This is not me. I can't possibly know. I haven't seen Price in the corner. I haven't seen him train. But if you look up the mistakes he's made previously, leading up to the fight where he got, again, knocked up by, what's his name? The guy, I can't remember his name is again, who knocked him out. But the Turkish guy, I think he's Turkish. And anyway, he got knocked out by that guy. He got knocked out. It was predictable he was going to get knocked out because the guy was not only a puncher, he was able to step inside and throw the first shot inside the left hook, bang, and knocked him out, laid him out flat, right? Rolled him out like a carpet. So there's Price again, laying out on the canvas. Okay, another devastating knockout defeat. So what lessons learned there? What lessons learned before? Okay, so now he hooks up with David Colwell, which I said, again, I was laughed at. I said again, David Price hooking up with Dave Colwell. No disrespect to David Colwell. No disrespect to him, as I don't disrespect to any trainer. But if your last chance saloon, you wouldn't go to David Colwell as your last chance saloon. If you want to start your career, fine. Go with David Colwell. You know, if you've had a defeat and you want to kind of rebuild, okay, go with David Colwell. Fresh, you know, when you change another trainer, fine. But your last chance saloon as a heavyweight, you left Tommy Brooks to go to Dave Colwell. Why? Because you've got the creature comforts of Liverpool. And I said, do not go back to Liverpool. If you want to be world heavyweight champion, you need to live like a monk. You need to be out, go out to America, go out to Europe, get yourself a sports psychologist and live like a hermit out there. Do what Lennox Lewis did if you're serious to becoming world heavyweight champion, because this is the hurt business. This ain't play around. This is the hurt business. And I said, this is what would happen if he comes with Dave Colwell. I said, he'll take a couple of good, easy fights, and then he'll fight against somebody who's going to be half decent out. People laughed at me. Dave Colwell had a problem with me about it. He said, oh, you're being out of order, this, that, blah, 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 blah. That's all right. I said, Dave, all right. I'm wrong. You're right. You know what you're talking about. And I was afraid of David Colwell because I saw Price looked a bit more fluid. He was moving, like he had a bit more rhythm, and he looked like he was doing a bit of movement. And you could see from the Tommy Brooks, what Tommy Brooks had done with him, catching shots and stuff. I could see something happening there with Price. I thought, okay, all right. Obviously, it didn't show in that fight. We got knocked out. So here we go. He fights Hammer or whatever his name was, who Tyson Fury totally dismantled, took apart. What happens in this fight? Price drops him, big right hand. So again, point taken. Price knocked down Thompson. Price knocked down Hamer, but ends up getting knocked out himself. Case closes. I said what was going to happen. It happened. Price disappears for a while. Tyson Fury, world heavyweight champion. Belts have been relinquished. And Joshua, now world heavyweight champion, beats Klitschko. Okay. Price almost the forgotten man of heavyweight boxing. A lot of people think Price is finished, he's done with. Now, his story is he's moved over to Derry Matthews. Now, the first thing I thought was, if David Price is going to make a comeback, who would I make a comeback against? And I thought, Zamano Love, the Rafael Zamano, the guy, Zamano Love, that's a footballer. Rafael Zamano, the sparring partner of Bermane Stiverne, would be good. You know, he would give Price that opportunity to land that big right hand. It'll give Price time to throw the jab. Zamano Love's not going to come in too much. He's not a big puncher. You know, not a big puncher at world level. Price looking spectacular, knocking him out. Yeah, bring him back. Bring him in to fight against him. Okay. So now we're in 2017. And here are my thoughts. Number one, David Price is one of the biggest punchers in world heavyweight boxing. Fact. He's knocked down two top 10 heavyweights in the world. Knocked them down. And had he been a bit more calm, he could have knocked both of them out. A bit more experienced, he could have knocked both of those guys out. He didn't. But he still has that one punch KO power there. He is a concussive. He's a massive puncher. Yes, we know vulnerabilities around the chin, vulnerabilities mentally, and vulnerabilities defensively. Doesn't know what to do with a left jab, but he's still pulling with that left jab, which a good fighter comes over the top and cracks him, or slips under and throws a left hook. We've seen it. We've seen the ways to beat David Price. Okay. This is the hurt business. David Price can still become world heavyweight champion. Oh my God, he can't become. How can he become world heavyweight champion? Because all it takes is one of them right hands to land in the right moment, the right time, on the right individual. It's problems. There is no heavyweight in this world that wants to get hit by David Price. That's a fact. This is where management comes in, steering your guy past the pitfalls of world heavyweight boxing to be in a position to fight the right guy on the right night to become world heavyweight champion. There was no need for a Tony Thompson fight. There was no need for the fight where he got flattened in Europe. There was no need for the two Tony Thompson fights, first and foremost. And there was no need for the guy who flattened him in Europe. And there was no need for the Hamer fight. No need. Those are 4 fights that were not necessary for David Price. Because in between those 4 fights, there weren't any guys that prepared him for those fights. So Price was either on level 2 or level 80. I won't say level 100 because that's the top, level 80. So it was just extremes from fighting guys who were tremendously out of shape, like the last guy he fought before he fought Hamer, who was ranked, God knows, 383 in the world. He had a belly and he looked like he'd just come out of a kebab shop. I mean, that doesn't do David Price any favors whatsoever. And nor does it do any favors with him being on television and getting TV coverage, fighting guys that nobody cares about. Now, I'm going to put it out there. Here's how David Price can become world heavyweight champion. I think So first of all, you need experts in your corner, David, which you need experts that you have to listen to, because clearly something or someone has either been badly advising you, you like getting hurt, or you're too damn ignorant. It's one of the three things, but it's got to be one of the three. After the 3-4 knockout defeats, think you now have to think about your career a bit more, your family, your friends, your livelihood. And here's how I break this down. He still needs a sports psychologist, 1. 2, he needs to be out of the limelight. Price needs to be out of the limelight. Have your comeback on small hall shows. No limelight. I don't care if nobody writes about you for the next damn 2 years. Go completely off the limelight. 2 years. You're a young man still, in terms of relative heavyweight. Build your career up. Work under a seasoned trainer who will work on your defense and will have a steady eye over you. In terms of management, and people are going to say, oh, I've got affiliations. I will say Dennis Hobson. Go to Dennis Hobson. Why Dennis Hobson? Dennis Hobson has picked guys up who have been on the scrap heap that the boxing world didn't want to know nothing about, not interested in, didn't care about, face didn't fit. Good example, Clinton Woods. People didn't care about Clinton Woods. Dennis Hobson took him to America, got him fixed up, brought him back from America. Clinton Woods become a multiple world champion. Beats Glenn Johnson. Becomes one of our most underrated champions, world champions, and fights for bona fide titles. Stu Hall, Jamie McDonnell. Those are 3 already. Carl Thompson who famously beat David Haye when Hobson said to Haye, don't take this fight, don't fight Carl Thompson, you're not ready for him. Haye wanted to fight. We all know what happened. So in terms of David Price coming back, that's the guy he needs to be working with, Dennis Hobson, because he's done it. And he would, in my opinion, he would not dismiss Price. He would not shut Price and say, forget him, because that's what he's used to dealing with. You know, the top promoters may not have time for him. I want to make quick cash and quick money out of Price. Let's get him into big fight now and make quick money out of him. Stop it. Go the long way. Learn your trade properly. Learn your trade properly. Those in-between fights before you become world champion, and, you know, fight your way up to being a proper contender. You may have to move a little quicker, but with quality sparring, good training camps, a good trainer tutoring you. And what you need to work on, David, is your defense. Your defense. Not how to throw the jab, but to be throwing an effective jab, throwing punches and combinations. If you have to be boring in fights, then be boring. Just do what you need to do to win the fights. Okay? A lot of people are not going to want to listen to this stuff because it's not, you know, it's not the taboo thing to be talking about. But these are the things I think can make David Price become world heavyweight champion. And just bide your time. No rush. Bide your time. Get up the rankings and bide your time. Because somebody in that division is going to have a questionable chin. And all it takes is your right hand to land on the questionable chin of that champion on that night. The heavyweight division is like this. You just don't know what's going to happen on one night to the other. You don't know. There's no one outstanding champion at the moment. You just don't know. You don't know. So Price has got the defeats. He doesn't have to worry about an unbeaten record. He doesn't have to worry about, you know, he is in a space where he can go at his own pace. A little quicker he's got to go because he's a little older. But a sports psychologist, a good manager, a good trainer, get away from Liverpool. And if you can't get yourself away from Liverpool, forget it. Forget it. Forget it. because creature comforts need to be away. Your creature comforts ain't working. It didn't work when you were under Dave Colwell. It hasn't worked previously. Get away. If you can't commit to leaving Liverpool and going abroad, whether it be America or Europe, I would say America to you now, and work with a real good American coach, a Ronnie Shields, a Bashir, a Tommy Brooks. Maybe that didn't work out. You know, a real seasoned trainer who knows how to work with heavyweights and have got a track record with heavyweights, not middleweights or lightweights, heavyweights. You know, that is what I would suggest to David Price. If you can't do those things, to make you're wasting your time. You're wasting everybody's time. You're wasting supporters who back you. You're wasting people's time because you're going to fight a whole heap of people that make no sense, or put yourself in the lion's den again, and you ain't ready because you haven't had the in-between fights and you haven't had the tutelage necessary and the training necessary. You've jumped before your time. You've jumped based on hype, based rather than substance. Have you got the ability? Yes, I think you've got the ability. But you've made some bad errors along the way, and you've been rushed and you've been pressurized and all the rest of it. There's no pressure on you now. Those are the things I think you need to do to become world heavyweight champion, and it can be done. And I don't want to hear about, oh, he's had so many losses. Doesn't matter. He can have 8, 10 losses. Oliver McCall had how many losses? He became world heavyweight champion. Look, if Bruce Seldon become world champion, and Axel Schultz can become world champion, and bloody Michael Moorer can become world champion, then I'm sure David Price can. If Frank Bruno can go on to become world heavyweight champion, then David Price surely work on that jab, make it a ramrod jab rather than just a powder puff jab. So those are my thoughts on the comeback of David Price. Can he become world heavyweight champion? Yes. Can he become a champion that's going to last for a long time? No, I'm not sure about. But can he become world heavyweight champion? Yes. Can he win a version of heavyweight championship world? Yes. But it's just picking the right fight at the right time. That's what a manager's for. Not for Twitter to decide, not for pundits in a studio to decide, not for your mate who's beside you who thinks you can do the best. Your manager and your trainer that work like that together, and they get a close eye on you. Yeah, because I tell you something, if those same pundits who are advising Price were advising Anthony Joshua, a similar thing could have happened to Joshua. But he's been steered clear of certain things and he's been advised accordingly. Some of your favorite fighters in the world, had they been rushed away, Price had been rushed, they wouldn't be the bollocks that they are today. That's a fact. Badly managed, ill-advised, and just some dreadful decision making. Some on Price's part, some on his management part, but in between it all, this is another start. But if you want to continue getting yourself hurt, then be ignorant, stay in Liverpool. And here's stories about, oh, well, my family's in Liverpool. Well, mate, then if your family's in Liverpool, you can't dedicate yourself to being world heavyweight champion or, you know, being the best you possibly can be, then don't bother. Continue being a Sparky or doing a job in the chippy or I don't know, open up a parochial business in boxing or become a trainer. But don't put your family at risk and your life and other people's lives at risk for a little bit of change in your back pocket or a little bit of change in somebody else's back pocket. So those are my thoughts on that. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the whole David Price story. Now, I will go back and read what people are saying. I had to get that out of my system because if I didn't get out of my system, and yeah, that's it. Those are my thoughts on that. So let me go through and listen to what people have got to say, because there's loads of people in this room saying a lot of things. So right. Okay, let's see what people are saying. I'm going to go through what people are saying. Hello, Anthony. Adam Scott says, hello, Ingram. He needs to earn the money at the end of the day, and his fights are kind of fun to watch because they're unpredictable. Yeah, they're fun to watch, but they're not good to watch. It's Anthony Bates says, it's crazy to think the hype he was getting years ago. DJ Slick says, enough is enough from Frankenstein. He's the walking dead. Time to get back to plumbing with Wallace and Gromit. Harsh. Unfortunately, Price's legacy will be what it will be. Finally, convincing Frank he no longer wanted to be a man. Oh boy. Faz7869 says Price, in my opinion, should join the Furies. That camp is the only one that will get him mentally tougher and improve his fitness using old school training methods. I don't know. I think Price was offered at Olive Branch by Peter Fury, and Price declined the offer. That's not open. Michael C. Lennox Lewis, proof a good fighter doesn't make a good trainer. Agreed. Didn't he go on and train? He trained, what's his name? I can see the guy's face now. He trained 2 fighters, and both fighters got knocked out. Price needs to go into his sports psychologist. If not, he's going to be walking heavy bag syndrome. Agreed. Alan Scott. I think his body kind of goes into shock. People don't realize how stressful it is with the heat and noise, getting punched hard. People cheering when you get hurt. The pressure of live TV. Ergen Tepper. Yes, that's the guy. Ergen Tepper. The jug teeth Chepper. Yes. Modern Broadcast says Price only needs one more win to get the British title outright. Consider Gary Cornish and Sam Sexton fighting for that next. No reason why Price can't get the winner of that. I agree. Price can knock them both out. Easy. A British title outright would be a good achievement to walk away with. No, I think Price can do better than that. Price has moved to Danny Vaughan now. Sorry, no, but you know what I think about that. Exactly. What's wrong with British title? And the money is better than anything can earn. LOL. Modern Broadcast. Clinton was what a legend. They're underrated Thompson because he just lost the top clinch goal. I know. Price is with MTK. He's not going to leave there for Hobson. No offense. I know, but he should. Price has to stop thinking he knows it all. When he trained in Rotherham, he was always saying, what you have won to coaches. What have you won to coaches trying to help him? Oh, dear. The best Price can hope for is to get the winner of Sexton Cornish for the British title and hope and pray Eddie slings him in with Dillian White for the European title. He already knocked out Sexton. He will beat Sexton again. Bayloric management. Interesting. Who knows one day. Allen versus Price. No, I'm not interested in seeing that fight. I see no point in David Allen in David Price fighting David Allen. Absolutely none. Sorry. Doesn't prove anything. If Wilder right hand hits Price, it might actually decapacitate him. If Price hits Wilder on the chin, I think he could be lights out. And that's the kind of fight that I would stick Price in and say, you know what? You got a chance here, son. Go ahead and slam that right hand straight on his chin. What were Bashir's thoughts on Price when you asked him? In the interview, said that Price should give up. He's finished. If he can't get his head straight before a meaningful fight, then no trainer in the world can get him right, unfortunately. These are valid points, guys. Shane Leverne says, the return of Price. Where's he returned to? Primark. Price, Ingram was Price not with Adam Booth for a while as well. Yeah, I heard that. I think he was consulting with Booth as well. That wasn't a good fit. Price, Booth, no. Guys seem to all have sort of rhythmic movement. Hit and not get hit. Price gets hit and stays hit. So, long time no see, says Brooklyn Gold Ingram. Hope all is well. Price would beat Leroy Thomas easy. Never mind the British title. Yeah, of course. I think so. Price can't fight past 4 rounds. He needs to get his knockouts early or it's curtains for him. Late in fights, Dave Allen will drag him into stretches and Cajon. What's the point of a Dave Allen fight? This is precisely the sort of comments that Price's team actually foolishly took on and responded to. What do you hope to achieve beating Dave Allen? So you beat Dave Allen, or so did Dillian White beat Dave Allen, or so did Ortiz beat Dave Allen. So did Leroy Thomas beat Dave Allen. And I don't need it. Swerve it. Move on. You don't. Dave Allen's all what you don't need to see. He's got a good chin, strong, come forward, Hits hard. No, avoid that fight. Move on. I heard prices come back at 140. Thank you, Brooklyn Gordon. There is no point for Price, Alan. See, you make these comments here, but these are the same comments that Price actually took on round with. Yeah, go fight Tony Thompson. Klitschko knocked him out. You're the heir to Klitschko. If you can knock out Thompson, then yeah, you're next in position to fight Klitschko. Yeah, because Tyson Fury fought Tony Thompson, didn't he? Of course he did. That's what we talk about, management. Price Soul is fighting at flyweight. That's the only realistic chance he's got of going unbeaten. Who would be Britain's best defensive in your opinion? Could this person help the mummy Price? Nobody in the UK. No, nobody in the UK. I don't. Of all, no, nobody in the UK I would go to. Nobody in the UK, because nobody in the UK. The only guy I probably would have given half a chance was Brendan Ingle. Nobody. No, nobody. Nobody. Who in the UK do you know teaches defense? I mean, okay, you tell me who in the UK teaches defense. Oh, well, okay. Tunde Ajayi. But could you really see Tunde Ajayi working with David Price? No. Don Charles, I could see Don Charles working with David Price because he's that's what Price needs, a mentor, stroke father figure, that sort of thing he needs. But he had Fanny Smith for that, and Don Charles back then would have been interesting. Look, he's doing that with Frank Buglioni. No, America, Ronnie Shields, Bashir. Great time for him to be with Bashir because Bashir's got Serenko, he's got the other heavyweight with him, Vlad Serenko and Ruan Vissa, and he's in Vegas at the moment. Been a brilliant time for Price to have joined the camp. He was way too heavy for the Hamer fight. Well, whose smart ideas were that? Price chances to attack, not defend, in my opinion. Yes, of course. Price can be champion, but he needs to avoid Dave the Journeyman. Allen, yeah, he does need to avoid Dave Allen. Tesco Joe could get Price some prize for half price. That's a shout. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, so those are my thoughts on the Dave Allen. Dave Allen. So you got me talking Dave Allen now. That's my story on the David Price story. I still think he could be world heavyweight champion, but I still think he needs that. I've told you what I think the dream team is for him. He needs Hobson, because Hobson will do the best for him. He's proven. No disrespect to anybody else, but he's proven. Hope his heart is still in it, though. It's at no point of a comeback. He looks deflated, like a broken man, literally against Hamer. He was a broken man in the first Thompson fight. The second Thompson fight just finished him off, I think. He hasn't recovered from that fight. Dave Colwell, presumably. What do you mean? Can you explain what you mean, Adam Scott, by Dave Colwell, presumably? It was over 20. Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Experience in their heavyweight division and training a big heavyweight. Not so. I've made my point on that. I think. How did Dave Colwell take Price on the pads? He's 4 foot tall and Price is 7 foot. I don't know. And frankly, I'm not being no disrespect to you, modern broadcast, but set up. I didn't care for him then, and you can see now why. I remember the video I posted about it, and everyone was smart. How many losses of age? Not going there. I'm not even answering that because I think it's not cool. Suicide's not something to joke about. Suicide is not. Somebody's asked a question. DJ Slicks asked, "How many losses do you think Price is away from suicide?" I think it's distasteful what you've just asked there, DJ Slick. Suicide is a very serious thing. Mental health, it's not something to joke about. There are many people I know who have considered taking their life, and they're not boxers. So I don't think suicide is anything to joke about. I think it's a very serious matter, and I don't think it's something that even should be asked a question. I think suicide is something that is, when the soul is broken, you'll think anything. It's not cool, especially especially distasteful as well when you think of guys like Tyson Fury, um, um, the Irishman Sutherland, who committed suicide. Just not cool, man. Not cool. Not cool, man. And I've told you about this shit before. I've told you about this abusive shit before. It's not cool. Trying to be funny, trying to be slick. This is the sort of shit I've told you about countless of times. Even I, my own self, have considered previously when I suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome, considered taking my own life. And even what's his name? Rest in peace, Dean Powell, who committed suicide. I mean, it's not something to joke about, my friend. It's not funny. How many losses away do you think Price is from committing suicide? Well, you know, suicide and losers in boxing shouldn't be even connected. I can't even begin to answer that question, because you're basically saying if he has 6 fights or 6 losses, then he's going to commit suicide. Why would I want to even consider even uttering the words of putting a man and his family and his kids and his poor kids through that? Because I'm not even gonna even enter that. I'm sorry. It's not funny, mate. I'm sorry. I can't even. Even suicide, even the word suicide. Any terming of it, any terming of that, either word itself, and I don't even want to um, meditate, think about, talk about many fighters in the sport of boxing or sport in general who suffer from mental health. Our own world heavyweight champion Tyson Fury is out of boxing because of the struggles of mental health. He even did something just a couple of days ago regarding Sinead O'Connor, and he had a shout out. I mean, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't, mate. I'm sorry. I can't even put that. Sorry. So no, mate. I don't think Slick's meant it like that. To be fair to the lad. Well, I wouldn't put suicide in boxing or any suicide in anybody's name to it, unless unfortunately that's the way their life had ended. But that's it. So sorry, it's 19 stone, £9 for Hamer against Audio, 17 stone, £9. Well, there you go. Well, I don't know. He was too big for Hamer. Colwell should know this shit. Should he? Should he? Why should he know that shit? I mean, Tommy Brooks would know that shit. Tommy Brooks has worked with Klitschko. He's worked with Tyson. He's fighting with Holyfield. He's worked with some of the best heavyweights, modern and post, previous. So that's the kind of guy you want to have in your corner. Somebody who's got some track record. Okay, so one of the things when you talk about trainers and mentors, who trained you? Who was your mentor? Who's you've got a pair of gloves on and you've got some pads on, but who taught you what you know? It's almost like a lineage. Like you can see like Freddie Roach. Who was he taught from? And then Georgie Beckner. Well, who was he taught from? There's a lineage of greatness that comes down the line. I'm not saying every trainer's got that, but when you're putting your life in the hands and it's your last chance saloon, I don't know. Yeah, I'll make it very short. And I think I've made the thing about it before, and I'll say it again. Regarding Paulie and McGregor, again, I'll say it before. Paulie had no business being in the ring with Conor McGregor. You are a retired fighter. You're retired. You were never the biggest puncher. Most of your fights, if you look at most of Paulie Malignaggi fights, the ones he was losing, he always got beat up. But Malignaggi was always getting beat up. He was getting beat up by Khan. He was getting beat up by Hatton. He was getting beat up by Cotto. He got beat up by everybody. He got beat up by even Broner. Malignaggi always gets beat up. So I don't know why everyone's going, oh, Malignaggi got beat up. So Malignaggi powder puncher. Why didn't McGregor go and spar Errol Spence like that? Why did he go and ask Keith Thurman to do that? Huh? Why do you call out I don't know, Adrian Broner do that shit? Because you know what would have happened. You call out Malignaggi, who's retired, who looked a bit puffy, didn't look like he was even in shape. Oh, Malignaggi wants to play the big man, doesn't it? I'll play the big man. I'm going to go into his camp. As soon as I would have seen what was going on in the camp, I would have turned around. As soon as I saw, no, mate, see it. I'm out of here. Bye. Gone. This is a guy who's meant to know his shit. This is a guy who is a big-time commentator. This is a guy who's very intelligent. But the moves he made was downright stupid. I mean, if I walked into a gym and I walked into McGregor's gym, I walked into McGregor's gym, yeah, and I've got beef for McGregor. I know what's going down. I know what's going down. So I want to make sure my shit's in gear. I'm in shape. I ain't going in McGregor half in shape, and they know the cameras are turned on, and there's a possibility I could get my ass kicked. McGregor's a no. I don't. Again, I've made this breakdown the other day. McGregor is not 0-0. McGregor's not 0-0, right? Before I boxed, I was in martial arts. I did mixed martial arts. I did BCKO, which is open contact, which is karate, kung fu, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu in tournaments. But I use my hands a lot. So when I actually transferred from box to box, I actually was able to know how to put my hands and my fists together, put combination together. Got something I did in the bags already. So McGregor is not an old novice. This is a guy who's been a part of professional prize fighting. Right? So he's not 0-0. He's not your 0-0, meaning he's never had a fight, he's never been in a ring, he's never hit somebody. No, McGregor's not 0-0. Take his record from MMA and bring that into boxing. You've got a clearer idea what's going on. Yes, okay, he's not kicking. He's not kicking, but he's not 0-0. That's just absolute crap. McGregor's not 0-0. Because he had amateur fights as well. When he was in Ireland. In Ireland, he's amateur fights. So he's not on 0-0. Okay? He's probably got a better technique than some boxers we got around today. So I don't believe in this 0-0 stuff. Sorry. And if you think he's 0-0, do you see the punches he was catching Paulie with? That straight left hand he caught people. He's not a 0-0 fighter. But when you talk about him against Mayweather, we're talking about a different level altogether. Okay? I don't care if it was a push or a knockdown. It doesn't make a difference. It's Paulie flipping Malignaggi. When was Paulie Malignaggi this shit? People are a bit confused. Great commentator. Was never a great fighter. Great commentator. Never a great fighter. If you want somebody to break a fight down, talk to Paulie Malignaggi. But when did you ever look down and say to yourself, right, tonight I'm going to tune in and watch Paulie Malignaggi's great fights? You just don't. So I don't know where all this story of, oh, Paulie Malignaggi got hurt. He got dropped. So what? That's about as relevant as Crawler versus Burns. I don't care. That's just my personal opinion. Oh, Crawler and Burns are fighting. Oh, okay. Oh, Malignaggi got knocked down by McGregor. Oh, okay. It's about as relevant as that. I just don't. I'm sorry. I like Paulie, I really do, but Ndogo and Crawford. Hey, now we're talking something, yeah. The first undisputed champion is going to be crowned since Jermaine Taylor. Boxing fans, where are you? This is going to be a momentous night. But the thing is, we've got garbage just around us. We've got an MMA guy fighting a boxer. So we've got an event. And then we've got Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo, right? Now, Gennady Golovkin, he's the baddest man on the planet. But he's only his first fight against us, the first guy who could kick his ass at 35 years old. But this is a super fight. This is a super fight. But Crawford and Ndogo are going to fight for the undisputed title. Canelo and Golovkin are not even fighting for the undisputed title because there's another champion fighting around in Billy Joe Saunders. Bullshit. That's what it is. That's what it is. Two brothers are fighting, right? And I can't tell you that neither Crawford, who I've interviewed before, 2 times I've interviewed him, still got the longest interviews on YouTube with Crawford, who is a student of the game. And in Dogo, who, let's be honest, let's put something very categorically clear. He beat a shot Ricky Burns. He beat a shot Ricky Burns that had been beaten by Ray Beltran. Ricky Burns that had been beaten by Figueroa. Ricky Burns that got beaten by Crawford himself. A Ricky Burns that got beat by quite a few other fighters. So he beat a shot Ricky Burns. How good is Ndogo? He's decent. I found him quite one-paced, to be honest. Just one-paced against Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns is not a boxer. If somebody tells me, said, yeah, look in the dictionary, you'll see Ricky Burns. I don't see boxer. He's like a really strong guy who throws punches. He's got no sort of coordination about him. He's a strong. This is the things about Ricky Burns I like. He's strong-willed. He's determined. He's tough. He's rugged. He's a tough man. He's not a boxer. Crawford's a boxer, a pure boxer. Errol Spence's a boxer. Lomachenko's a boxer. But Ricky Burns is not a boxer. I mean, Collie would say he's a boxer, but Burns is. I don't, because he just does everything just like no rhythm to what he does. And I like Ricky Burns a lot. I was one of the guys who backed Ricky Burns to knock Mitchell out, Kevin Mitchell out. Oh, he won't knock Kevin Mitchell out. He goes and knocks Kevin Mitchell out. He's just tough. He's strong. I expect, Ndogo beat the Russian guy. He knocked him out. He knocked the Russian out, and that's fine. But and it was a great knockout. And he hurt Ricky Burns a few times. He can punch a bit. But this is Ricky Burns, whose jaw was broken by Ray Beltran. This is Ricky Burns, whose jaw's never been the same since the Ray Beltran fight. It's tough, but it's Ricky Burns, limited fighter, against Terence Crawford, who is a very good fighter. The only question mark about the 2 question marks about Terence Crawford, still not sure about. I don't know what Terence Crawford's heart's like, and I don't know what his whiskers are like. I didn't like what I saw, but when he fought Gamboa, a much smaller guy, hurting him. That's the only thing about Terence Crawford I'm a little concerned about. But punching power, speed, movement, footwork, combination punching, vicious nut. I love Crawford, right? So I remember telling people about Crawford when he was going to fight Burns. People say, "Oh, Burns to beat Crawford. Crawford ain't fought no better." So listen to me. Crawford's going to kick Burns' ass. I said it. Crawford's coming to England. He's going to kick Burns' ass and take the title away. And I predicted him to go on to be a very great fighter. Well, he's gone and done that stuff now. So I'm really happy to know that Bayloric or BWTM have covered some of the best fighters in the world. And now we've got Crawford, who's going to now go on to become, who could possibly go on to be undisputed champion. And that's a great thing. In Dogo, don't dismiss him. He's going to throw everything. He potentially could be the most dangerous opponent that Crawford's fought. Height, reach, but don't let height and reach fool you, because he fought Prescott, tall, long, rangy, took Prescott apart. So there would be questions of height and reach. Guys tall for the weight. Ask yourself the question: how Ndogo responds to body shots. What's Ndogo's punch resistance like? So all those things have to be answered. So both guys, punch resistance. We're going to find out a lot more about both guys, what they like when they have to dig deep. Both of those brothers are going to be coming, and they're going to put out a great fight for sure. Terrence will be good as long as he stays at 140. Not sure he'll want to fight some of the best at 147. Gamboa still the best name on Crawford's record? Gamboa, Beltran. I think so, might be. Postal. Oh my God, Postal. Postal looks like he was part of a computer game. Oh, terrible. Just keep a dog around after this and just put him in with in some fun territories of 147, 154. Yeah. But we'll have our first undisputed champion, whether it be Crawford or Ndogo. The first undisputed champion since Terrence Crawford, since Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor. First undisputed champion since Jermaine Taylor. Think about that. He did. Posse looked like he was one of. Posse looked like he belonged in something like a Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I'm not joking. He looked like something out of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Like his head shape and the way he boxed, he was terrible. Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's good. He ain't beating no Terence Crawford though. He's good. He ain't beating no Terence Crawford though. See if you can get that. Garcia versus Crawford is the only one to make 140. Absolutely. No. Lomachenko. Hey, great pound for pound, number one. I didn't say, and I don't agree with it. But worst time to be a contender in that division. Yep, it's a great time to move up. What percentage do you give Taylor versus Crawford? 10%. 10%. 5% to get in the ring and 5% to get out the ring. That's it. That's 10% for you. 5% to get in the ring and 5% to get out of the ring. I can't see that fight happening. Sorry. No. Come on. Matchmakers have let the fans down 10 years since Taylor. Yeah, because people are greedy. People are greedy. And look at it. All the pound for pound. Look at Lomachenko pound for pound, number one. He's not even undisputed champion. What? He's not even like he's not fought no killers or anything. At least Postal was a killer. People said Postal was the baddest man in the like welterweight division after he knocked out what's his name? The guy that Garcia went close with. I can see him now, the big puncher who blitzed out Lamont Peterson. Hey, don't forget Lamont Peterson now. They like having world champions scattered in all different areas of the world. While I'm at it, where do you see the next undisputed champion coming from after this? I say AJ. I wouldn't speak too soon about that. I wouldn't speak too soon about it. I won't speak too soon about that because Lomachenko's next fight, Matite. Listen, Matite was a bad man. The way he wiped up Lamont Peterson, and you saw how Lamont Peterson beat Danny Garcia. In my opinion, I think Lamont Peterson is a very good fighter. I rate Lamont Peterson very, very, very highly. Very highly. What do you make of Hugh Fu's old school training? Will he beat Parker? I think that Huey Fury, in my opinion, in the training he's doing, he's been taken to places he's never been taken before his whole life. And his father is putting in every possible sort of resistance against Huey now, so that come the Parker fight, Parker's going to be, you should look at Parker and he's going to say, you know what? After the shit my dad's put me through, these 8 weeks, the shit my dad's put me through, I think it's also to mentally toughen up Huey, right? After the shit my dad has put me through, there's no way you're going to come from New Zealand and kick my, no way. That's what I think it's all about. That's what I think Huey Fury is going through now. So his dad has said to him, you know what? You are going to get 8 weeks of hell. And when I finish with the 8 weeks of you, and I finish turning you over my ass and spanking you so bad, I'm going to beat the shit out of you so bad that when that Parker comes over here, he's going to be like your worst enemy. And all the shit I beat the shit out of you for 8 weeks. After I beat the shit out of you for 8 weeks, I'm going to expect you to turn around and beat the crap out of Josie Parker. That's what I think psychologically. That's what I think is psychologically going on between Peter and Huey at the moment, in my estimation. Because if there was any element within the Fred Cassie fight that he felt that Huey was mentally weak, he's not going to tell me that. But if he felt that Huey was mentally weak, he would work on that and put him in situations where his natural inclination would be to quit, and Peter's going to kick the quit out of him. That's what I think's happening. It takes 21 days to break a habit. And I think that Huey Fury went into the training camp for the Parker fight, a boy. I think he's going to come out of this training camp a man. That's what I think. So there you go. What are your thoughts on Huey not being able to sell out half the arena in his hometown for a world title fight? No surprise. I mean, Huey's not Mr. Personality, is he? Let's be honest. I mean, he's a lovely guy. He's not Mr. Personality. He's not Tyson. Okay. And you know, Tyson Fury's absence from the sport is hurting Huey Fury at the moment, because you know, it was because of Tyson Huey was getting some shine. I'm not saying Huey couldn't fight, but it was Huey Fury, Tyson Fury's cousin. So when Huey actually wins the world heavyweight title, then he's got an opportunity to shine. But at the moment, he's just the other Fury. That's what it is. So you can't really sell. Do you think Peter's better with his son or Tyson? Well, he's got more control of his son than he has over Tyson. Peter said on a number of occasions, I don't know how many times he said it, Tyson's a law unto himself. All I know is when Tyson comes into camp, he's got 8 weeks, or he's got 10 weeks, or he's got 12 weeks. He's with me, and that's what he does when he's with me. Outside of that, Tyson's got his own family. Read between the lines. So I don't know. But I may read between the lines. Maybe I'm reading between the wrong lines. It could be a better fight than people think. It could well be. I think it will be. Daniel Dubois and Andy are more known than Huey. Worst promoted fighter in the game. Possibly. Do you think Peter is better than... Oh, yeah, I've done that. I know Peter said in an interview that he didn't want to talk about Tyson. He's only dedicated fighters. Well, you can't blame him. I mean, why the hell do you want to sit down talking about somebody who's not focused on sport when your own son's fighting for a world title? Forget Tyson. He's not sold anywhere near half. He's only sold half of the bottom tier. Oh dear. I've given up hope of Tyson ever coming back now. It's over. Move on. So did Hughie surpass Tyson then? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know, Tyson is his own man. And remember, Tyson is the cousin. Peter Fury is his uncle, not his dad. So it's a different era now of Fury. It's another era. So you'll have a more. If you listen to Huey, he sounds. You can see his father speaking through him. I'm not saying he's what I mean by father speaking through him. You can see more of Peter in Huey than in Tyson. Peter's more allowed to. I think Peter's allowed to have more influence on Huey, but I think Huey's more. Tyson's more naturally gifted. Huey's the harder worker, I think. Parker Fury hasn't still got a TV broadcaster either. I expect it to be pulled. Keep the boxing stream going, Ingram. You're joking, mate. Not on TV, ITV pay-per-view then. I think if I'm a betting man, I think there will be a TV broadcaster. Do you fancy Huey to win considering he hasn't had any warm-up fights? He's got the skill level to beat Joseph Parker. Thing is, I would have more doubts about Huey Fury fighting Joseph Parker until I've seen what they do with Huey Fury now. Now what they do with Huey, what Peter's done with Huey, like I said, he's been taken to hell and he's getting the shit beaten out of him. I don't mean physically, but it's metaphorically speaking. So that when he meets Joseph Parker, there's going to be no quitting that boy. And that's a different proposition. Like I said, from boy to man, I think Huey's become a man during the training camp. I think he was a boy before he entered that training camp. I think now he's going to come out a man. I think it takes 21 days to learn or to learn a new habit. I think that's key. If Parker Fury gets pulled, then it will bury the Fury name. I know. I can't see Tyson coming back either, so I so hope he does. Tyson's like his dad, a loudmouth man. Huey's more like his dad, quiet. Tell us, bro. Never mind the wink. Well, no, I can't tell you anything. There's nothing to tell. Dennis Hobson's getting a TV broadcast and showing Parker Fury, isn't he, Ingram? Where'd you get that idea from? LOL, let the cat out of the bag. No, I didn't say anything about that. DJ on the ball. When will Tyson have his VADA date? Is it holding him up or is it done either way? Remember, do you remember when I say certain things to you? Remember I said to you, I said to you guys way back, I said, Tyson, beginning of January 2016, was it? Yeah, 2006. I said, Tyson, give up the belts, keep the IBO belt, keep the Ring Magazine belt, give up all the rest of the belts. What is it doing? Give him all the belts. I said, Tyson Fury will not be given the red carpet treatment if he decides to come back to the sport of boxing. They will shut him out. Promoters will shut him out. Now, I would not be surprised if there is a promoters that are working alongside VADA or WADA or whoever it is, and they're paying some money under the table to keep Tyson out of boxing. Said it before, I'll say it again. Can't prove it, but it's as good as probably. Not surprised. 100% Dennis Hobson is in talks with a TV broadcaster, and he has 3 offers because I saw you interviewed together. Fury could go on that. Did he say that? I didn't hear that. Did he say that on my interview? Didn't know that. Well, if that's the case, then well, that's all good, isn't it? So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Now, while I'm here, there's some things I'd like to talk to you about. And this subject is about world title fights. Any news about Belly? Don't know, don't care. Hope it's Andre Ward. I don't really care, to be honest. Not interested. No disrespect, just not interested. But here's a story I want. I want to hear your opinion on this. World title fights. It's become the norm that a guy has a couple of decent, good fights. Wait for it. That was a good performance. So when are you going to fight for world title? World title next. When are you going to fight for world title? He looks ready for a world title. When are you going to fight for a world title? World title. World title. World title. It's gone a day. There's a day when you win British, Commonwealth, European, world title. You start as a pretender, then a contender. Then hold on a second. What's happening with Stiverne Wilder? You seem closest to Stiverne. Yeah, hold on. Just please let me get through this story, and then I'll talk to you about that afterwards. Please. So, sorry. So everyone's talking about world title fights, particularly in the UK. World title fights. Now, what is the point of winning a world title when you're not good enough to defend it? What is the point of winning a world title when you haven't got the boxing fundamentals to defend that world title? So what you have to do is keep skipping and avoiding the best guys out there. So you devalue the belt and you become a title holder. So the belt itself doesn't actually have a any sort of prestige about it. Why? I don't understand it, boxing fans. I don't understand why people decide to have world title fights when you damn well know they're not ready. Okay. Example, Ryan Burnett. He's got a world title now. Is he a world champion or is he a belt holder? Is Ryan Burnett ready to fight Tete? Here we go. Should be British, win outright, Commonwealth, then European, and then maybe you deserve a title shot. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's how it should be. Remember the time where, you had your fighter and you look at your fighter and he was fighting up the rank. You saw him moving up the rankings and he was taking this guy. Like a fight I used to love, Gary Mason was one of my favorite fighters. He was one of the first guys I actually tuned into watching boxing. Gary Mason. Sticking Gary Mason up, moving him up the rankings. And when he fought, he had that fight again. He fought, I saw him fight Jess Harding, and he knocked out Jess Harding 2 rounds. Barry Hearn was his promoter at the time, and Barry Hearn was saying, "Oh yeah, I think Jeff Harden's got what it takes to knock out Gary Mason." Go back and please do yourself a favor. Check out Gary Mason versus Jess Harding. That's one of the most brutal knockouts I've seen in a British ring, right? The straight right hand that he laid out Jess Harding was absolutely sweet as a nut. Yeah. So okay. So after that knockout, he goes on and fights Tyrell Biggs. I remember Mason talking about him fighting Tyson, and then and then Mason goes, and I remember him fighting Tyrell Biggs, and Biggs was getting on his bike, and he was boop, boop, popping the jab out, and Biggs was looking good. And I was thinking, oh my God, come on, Gary, you can do it. Hit him one right hand, bang, one right hand, and knock Briggs out in the 7th round. Remember it. Then he was moving, still moving right, like Mickey Duff. He had him with Bigfoot Martin. He fought Mark Willis. They were tough, hard nights. Guys who could punch, guys who were movers, different kinds of challenges that Mason would have to fight on his way to becoming champion. But he was British champion. Of course, unfortunately, he came across Lennox Lewis. Okay, Gary Mason gave Lennox one of his toughest fights of his career. But that's how I like watching boxing. I like to see my fighter go through the gears, British, Commonwealth, European world. That's in some senses why I rated and I liked Tony Bellew. That's why I liked Tony Bellew, because people were saying, "Oh, Bellew's shit." I said, "No, listen, this guy can box. He's got good boxing ability. He needs to pick his feet up a bit more. He needs to throw punches a bit more a bit more often." And I don't understand why he's called the Bomber. I kept wondering why it was called the Bomber. Light heavyweight, cruiserweight. We discovered why it was called the Bomber, and he ends up becoming cruiserweight champion of the world. So by the way, lads and lasses, if you aren't working tomorrow morning around 11 a.m., then Yamanaka v Neri world title fight tomorrow should be an absolute cracker. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys, for not listening to what I'm saying and just talking away your own thing. Apparently, he has apparently has a deal done with Hewitt if he wins. Don't know about Parker. Oh, that's David Hay thing. Whatever. You have a short memory. Ingram is right. I told you I had to work. Joe Joyce will be ready for AJ in 6 fights according to Haymaker. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hay is butting up Parker up by letting him use his gym. Okay. Modern broadcast. Okay, fine. Right. I see that nobody else wants to listen to what I have to say and just wants to have their own conversation. Yeah. Stiverne yesterday was with the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman. I will talk to Bermane. And actually, while you're here, what time is it? 11 o'clock? You think we should try and give him a call? Should we give him a call and find out where he's at, where this thing is with Wilder? Let's see. Let's give him a call. Give me a second. Let my phone fire up. And while you're at it, just have a chat with me or just ask you questions. Yeah, Charlie Edwards, prime example, world title fight, was never ready for it. Please, while you're at it, also, while we're waiting, if you haven't already, while I'm waiting for my phone to load up, here you go. Please, let me see if I can get this up. Yeah. Check out our Facebook page. Yes, he said, I just saw that just hiding cow. That was pretty horrible. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try and get Mr. Don't disappear. I'm going to try and get Mr. Stiverne on the channel. Where's my gaming channel? I haven't even got it here. Is it even there? Yeah, do me a favor. Can somebody put the link to the gaming channel up there, please? Because I don't know. I can't get up at the moment. Okay, waiting for my phone to load up. Give me a second. I'm going to try and talk to Mr. Stiverne, see if I can get him on the. A lot of fighters have been world champions, but were bang average. Example, Darren Barker. Yeah, well, please, says Dr. Dredd. Right. All right, I'm going to try and sort it out now, Mr. Dredd. Give me a second. Hey, Ingram, you should be doing these boxing talk streams daily. They're great. I would. I really would. Would be great to get Stiverne on tonight. Boom. Yeah, well, I'll work on it now for you. You know how it goes. Let me see if I can get my man. Okay, well, give him a second, see if he's got the message or not. Hold on, I'm saying it now. Who was that guy Eddie Hearn said to die in a world title shot a few years ago? Was it Brian Rose? Or was it when he fought against Andrade? What time is it now? It's 11 to okay. Says so are they a daily thing now, mate? Not yet, mate. Call Russell after. I could do. Ingram has some gangsters in that contact list, boy. This man's contacts. Do you know what Brian got paid for that fight? 120,000. It's pretty shit money to fight Andrade, isn't it? If you're not the best in the country or Europe, why are you challenging for world honors? E.g., Paul Smith. Good question. He hasn't seen it yet, which is odd. But I don't know if it's because I've just turned my phone on. So give it a second. He may respond in a second. Gonna give it a couple minutes for my things. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes and then I'll ring. Okay, here we go. Now my phone's starting to load now. So let's see. Okay. Let's see. Hasn't got it yet. Let me see if I can get his attention. I've just called him. Talking about undeserved title shots and trying to ring Stiverne. A point, I suppose. LOL. You trying to be slick and clever. See, now I'm trying to do something just as a thing that people ask for. And now somebody's trying to be slick. Why? Why be slick? He didn't miss Nevada testing. He didn't miss Nevada testing. I can tell you for a fact he didn't miss Nevada testing, and I can tell you for a fact that story was bogus. Another bogus story. I'll tell you exactly what happened. What exactly happened was he wasn't at the address that was on the information that was given to them at the time. But that was VADA's fault, not Bermane Stiverne's fault. And basically, the WBC had no problem with it. The WBC for Bermane to contact the VADA. He contacted VADA. VADA saw Bermane. There was no problems with Bermane. There's no problems with VADA. So that's it. End of. So there's your answer about VADA. Don't listen. I'm telling you now, don't listen to all the stories you read. A lot of it is a lot of garbage. Yeah, the WBC did put it out, but I saw the letter as well from the WBC. It's not. He didn't miss the test, so don't worry about that. Honestly, he's probably busy. Could be, or training, or in Vegas. It's the weekend of the WBC. That convention, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably that convention. Hmm. I don't know how many times that situation I've explained to you, and I'm not even going to bother going to. But for the last time, just for you to make sense to you, Stiverne was lined up to fight Povetkin. Povetkin failed the drug test. WBC made Stiverne Povetkin the mandatory. Okay. If you're going to go about Luis Ortiz, his last two fights has fought Dave Allen and what's the guy's name for it? Dave Allen and Malik Scott. That's hardly the opening for a world title fight, is it really? So it's WBC's fault. It's got nothing to do with Bermane Stiverne. It's do what it's got. He's done nothing to deserve it. But what has Ortiz done to deserve a world title shot? Who has Ortiz fought to warrant a world title shot? I know people don't understand the term mandatory. Okay, mandatory is mandatory. You have to face. That's what mandatory is. It's not for debate. It's not for discussion. It's not about what you think or what you might like. Knocked out Brian Jennings. Okay, and didn't Brian Jennings just come off a knockout defeat to Vladimir Klitschko? So, okay, when was Brian Jennings a world champion? Okay, he knocks out Brian Jennings. Well, then, okay, Bermane Stiverne fought Ross Purity. What was it, Ross Purity or Derek Rossi? So, and I like Brian, and I'm good with Brian, but so yeah, that doesn't mean anything. So Jennings. So who did Jennings beat? Mike Perez, who got knocked out in a round by Povetkin. So really, the heavyweight division isn't that packed with quality fighters at this minute in time to make statements like that. It really hasn't got the quality, not like it was 10 years ago where you had Lewis, Tyson, Holyfield, Bowl, Roddick. It's not that. Look at AJ versus Pulev. Okay, so who the hell has Pulev fought to be fighting for a world title? Fighting AJ for a world title. Mandatory. What the hell has Pulev done? Who the hell has Pulev fought? Come on, talk to me. And the story about the networks, who told you that? Who told you that? The same people that told you that Stiverne employed James Prince to go after Wilder? No, because that's inaccurate information as well. So this whole new age of go heavyweights is a myth then. Well, okay, how many quality heavyweights are there in the heavyweight division? In the top 10? Proven quality fighters. How many? Name them. Klitschko just retired. Fury's out. So let's go for them. Joshua, he's had a win against Klitschko. Fine. Klitschko was already beaten by Tyson Fury 2 years previous to that. Klitschko, for all intents and purposes, an old man. Let's move on. So next, who else you got? Dillian White got beat by Anthony Joshua. Or Luis Ortiz. Best win? Maybe Bryant Jennings. Bryant Jennings got beat by Vladimir Klitschko, who's now retired. Okay. Josie Parker, best win. Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, who was his best win against? Okay. So it's just, you know, okay, you could say who's Bermane's best win against? Ariola. Ariola, who beat what's his name? Seth Mitchell, and got beat by Deontay Wilder. Who's Deontay Wilder's best win? On paper, Bermane Stiverne. I mean, really, it is much of a muchness, really, isn't it? I don't see any. There's nobody outstanding in the heavyweight division. Who's outstanding in the heavyweight division? Oh, Anthony Joshua. Based on what? He beat Klitschko. Klitschko got beat by Tyson Fury. So what's outstanding about that? There's no outstanding fighter at the moment. Nobody's head and shoulders above. Okay, Fury beat Klitschko. Unbeaten, he beat Klitschko. And he beat Chisora. And he beat a few other guys. But you wouldn't say he's outstanding. You know, but then you look at someone like Andre Ward, who I'd say is an outstanding fighter. Because he's beat a list of guys. He's beat a list of guys. A list of guys who've either been top champions, have come back and become world champions. Dylan White blocked me on Twitter for all the networks BS. Mandatory Stiverne. Mandatory Stiverne. That's it. It's just, that's what it is. Let me see if. Oh, here we go. Just had a reply back from Bermane. Ah. Oh. Hey, champ. Can you hear me? Hello? Hey, champ, how you doing? Have you got 5 minutes? You good? Have you got 5 minutes? Listen, we're live, so we're live. Can you speak for 5 minutes? Okay, hold on. Let me turn the volume up, put you on loudspeaker. Okay, I don't know if people can hear that. Bermane, are you there? Yes,
sir.
How you doing, champ? How are you doing?
I'm good.
Great stuff, great stuff. People were just asking the question very quickly. What is the situation with what's?
I can't really hear you.
Okay, what's the situation between yourself and Wilder at the moment?
Well, I mean, right now, my manager is having pretty much the negotiation are coming into an end. Should be within the next 48 hours, or worst case scenario, by the weekend.
So by the weekend, we should have an answer, if not the next 48 hours.
I didn't hear that. I can't really hear you.
Sorry. So within the next 48 hours to the end of the week, we'll hear the deal, whatever's going to happen between yourself and Wilder.
Yeah, correct. I had a chance to had a little one-on-one talk with Mauricio Suleiman Friday. We talked a couple hours, and I told him how I felt and what I wanted, basically. And but you got to remember also I have a team that I work with, and the decision that is whatever I'm doing is it is a teamwork. And like I said, man, the next 48 hours is I believe within the next 48 hours everything should be sealed and confirmed.
Okay, one way or the other. If it is for you to fight Wilder, what are your thoughts on that? If you are to fight Wilder,
I can't hear you. You sound like you covered the phone up.
Okay. If you are to fight Wilder, what are your thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts on fighting Wilder?
If you are to fight him, yes.
That's everything I want. That is everything I want. Everything I ever wanted for the past 2 years. You know, however you put it, this is a fight that will happen. Like I said, that is my target.
One more thing I want to ask is about we have a little discussion here. People are talking about the broadcaster, and the broadcaster is the problem. The broadcaster.
I really can't hear you.
Okay, the broadcaster. What's the situation with the broadcaster?
What do you mean? The TV?
Yes.
Well, you know me. TV are always the one that will dictate. They play a major. Well, like I expressed before, I don't really care if I'm on TV or not. But TV plays a big role into an event between fighters. I don't know too much about the on a TV. When it comes to TV, but the fight will be whatever fight or the fight will be. I think it should be on Showtime, but on their politics or.
Okay, no worries. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's not a problem. One other question I want to ask you about is I think we spoke about this already, but just to clue people up, this story that goes on about you missing a VADA test. Can you just clear the air up about that, because people are still going on. People just cling to straws about things in hope. Can you clear that up as well, please? People clinging to straws.
It's clear and simple. I trained at the boxing club, and since I left home and got to Vegas in March, I notified VADA that I will not be at Mayweather Gym because what I'm concentrating on right now is the conditioning and strength. So I did what I had to do. I emailed VADA and gave them the address and the hours where I will be, and they decided to still show up at Mayweather Gym. So I wasn't there, and I didn't start till the end of July. And they decided with me emailing them, I emailed them way before, and then they still decided to show up at Mayweather Gym. And even when the lady called gym, I told her that I emailed the the, the, the lady that was in charge, and I told her on the phone and give her the address of my strength and conditioning gym. They never showed up, and I saw her again at the Kovalev and Ward fight, and I gave her the number and all the information about the gym. That's the third time I did that, and then little do you know, maybe a couple weeks later, a week or two after, I heard that I missed the test and this and that. So I don't, if they want me to put the email public and the date and the time, I got no problem doing that. I did what I had to do when I signed up for the program. That's what I did. I did my part. I guess they didn't do their part, or it was some kind of miscommunication. But like I spoke to Mauricio, and he said that everything was straightened out, and there was a miscommunication between Vada and myself. So, like I said, man, I did what I had to do. So even when I left, I remember I left. I went out of town maybe 2 weeks ago. I had to go back to Florida, and I had to email them again just in case. I told them that I wasn't going to be at home, and I'm going home for a couple of days. So if they need to show up in Florida or something, here's my address, here's my telephone number, my email, and everything. Every time I travel, that's what I do. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I always let them know that I'm not in Vegas or I'm coming to Vegas. Wherever I'm at, I always let them know where I'm at. Now, if I decide to show up somewhere that I'm not, it is not my responsibility or my fault. That's all it is.
So there's no situation of you skipping drug tests or trying to duck drug tests?
No, I didn't skip nothing. Plus, on top of that, I remember the whole time I was training to go to Russia, sometimes they would come to the Mayweather gym, and maybe an hour or two later, they would show up to my house. Okay. And it's funny that when they went to the gym in July or June, whatever that was, that they didn't show up to my house, because they usually, when I'm not at the gym, they show up at my address in Vegas.
Okay. Good. I'm glad we cleared that up. One final thing before you go. James, Uncle Bashir, he told me that he got to meet you.
Yeah, I saw him the whole weekend at the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. So, we discussed, we talked a little bit, and told me that he had some good words for me. So, I met two of them.
Yes.
They look like great guys, and they look like they could work.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe start within a week or two. Working together.
Fantastic. I'm glad to see you two guys got that hook up. Two of my favorite guys in boxing.
Yeah.
So I've got one person here that's here. Dr. Dredd asked the question, why can't you just take the step aside money and get paid twice the amount of money for it?
Say what?
The Dr. Dredd asked the question, why can't you just take double the amount of money, take the step aside money, and just let Wilder fight whoever he wants to fight?
Oh boy, 48 hours. In 48 hours. 48 hours, or you know what? Not 48 hours. Just give me by the end of the week, and
By the end of the week, we'll know what's going on.
Everybody will find out what's going on and have every All the confirmations that's out there.
Will that be exclusive to?
I mean, I know what's going to happen. I just need to sign some papers. I haven't signed the paper yet, so I can't confirm anything.
But when it does happen, you'll let BWTM know, right?
You'll be the first one I call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, champ.
All I need to do is sign the papers. That's all. I actually know what I'm doing. We all agree on what we are going to do. So, like I said, it's just the matter of signing, go through the paperwork, and then once we're done with the paperwork, then it's confirmed.
Okay. So we'll stay in waiting patiently for developments.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Bermane. We love you. Take care.
No problem.
Take care, champ. So there you have it. There is your exclusive there. Bermane Stiverne tells us exclusively on BWTM Sports, within 48 hours, we're going to know whether he's actually going to fight Deontay Wilder or he's going to be taking step aside money. 48 hours till the end of the week. It's a joint decision by his team and his management. So Gerard D says he's stepping aside. Oh, I don't know about that. Bloody hell. That's what he got out. Bloody hell. That's what he got out on bloody Twitter. No, the VADA ducking's not strange. It's not strange. I can confirm to you that VADA stuff is bullshit. Absolute bullshit, right? Just trust me when I say it's bullshit. It's just various bullshit that's out, but it's bullshit, trust me. If there was anything fishy going on, I would have told you. I would have told you straight up. So we don't know whether the fight's going to be announced within 48 hours to the end of the week. What we do know, it's going to be exclusive to BWTM Sports. We'll be the first to know what goes down. So I'll probably get the call. You know what's going on. So there's your little bit of extra there. Thank you to Bermane Stiverne for that little bit of the boxing newspapers have you out before you. Well, they can try. So they can try and get the information out there, but they're going to still have to come back here because you all know where you heard it first. And you know who does the Stiverne interviews, so you know where it's at. So, yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up for me. Dr. Dredd, you asked the questions, you got the answers. Stiverne did not skip a VADA test. You got to remember, people in the media have agendas. A lot of these people in media are connected to promoters, managers, and people have other agendas. So the best thing you can do in a situation like this is make the call. Call the WBC. Call VADA. Talk to them. Don't just take things from paper and say, it is what it is. I sat down and watched the whole situation. Like 2 or 3 times I've sat down, I've been talking to Bermane, and I've watched stories come up. Or I've been talking to Peter Fury and I've seen a story come up. Like when they were talking about Peter Fury and that Hugh Fury is going to be fighting Takam. And me and Hugh were sitting down and I'm talking to Hugh and said, hey, look, it's just supposed to fight Takam. I said, really? He goes, really? I didn't know about that. That's been from reputable people. So basically, he's claiming that VADA people have made an error and turned up at the wrong place. Then he says he's chatting privately with the president about the WBC about it. No. The WBC president contacted Bermane Stiverne and said to them, this is what's happened. And then he clarified it and he showed him the emails. And then the VADA person was clear about it. WBC president was clear about it. And there's a letter that's out there that I've seen about it. So just trust me on it. It's bullshit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. All right. So fuckers in the chat watching keyboard ready. The Dread Guan, pick up your status. You hear me? Seen? Have you any stories about the dark side of VADA? No, I haven't, and I'd rather not have any dark stories about VADA because I haven't dug in. I haven't. Let's see what else. Tell Bermane, yes, prolific genius. How are you doing? Tell Bermane to make sure he KOs Wilder this time. What they doing to Tyson Fury? Yeah, I think somebody needs to get a proper interview with Tyson Fury. I'm sorry, somebody said to me the other day, and somebody needs to have a word with Tyson Fury, a proper interview, not kiss arsing. Somebody who I'd love to get a interview to Tyson. I'd love to interview Tyson and talk to him. Dark story. The testers having to wait 11 hours for Golovkin to take a piss. LOL. Sorry, 3 missed tests and you're banned. Life in athletics. No ifs or buts. But I don't think Bermane has had 3 life missed tests. And has he? And even the story about him drawing positive was bullshit. The story about media. The story about him dressing positive. He had a can of Monster. He drank the Monster. And VADA said to Bermane, "It's not good you drinking this because it's going to raise your heart rate." So he stopped drinking it. So it was a harm to him. So that's what VADA said to him about the Monster drink. So Tyson Fury, that's the dark side of media. VADA bullshit. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think I've done my bit tonight for you lot. You've had my thoughts on David Price and you had an exclusive Bermane Stiverne. So what more do you want? This is BWTM Sports. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell everybody about BWTM Sports. If you want to get your breaking news and you want to get the truth, come to us. We're not just going to copy and paste. We'll do the legwork. We'll get the answers for you where we can. This is BWTM Sports, Baylor Worldwide Television and Media Sports. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. If they want to listen or get knowledge about the sport of boxing for people who are going to talk the truth, that are not going to be caught up in paper bullshit and are going to just copy and paste, but you want to hear the truth, come to BWTM Sports. If you want to get involved in fake news and bullshit, keep listening to your main source and they keep getting proven wrong over. What I don't understand is that people keep going back to these sources over and over and over again, and they keep getting exposed over and over and over again, and they don't even think, hold on, I've gone to this source 4 or 5 times and they've been proven to expose 4 or 5 times. You know, some people can get these stories wrong. They can get the stories wrong a few times, but unacceptable when you're a multi-million-pound company and you keep getting your sources wrong. It's not right. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Yeah, Ingram suddenly turned into Frank Warren Mac. I've got to because I'm sick and tired of it. Right. David Price is the best boxer in the world. Yeah, he probably would be if he damn listened. I'm out of here. Thank you all so much. Sly Sports. Yeah. And finally, one little statement to those. You tried. Keep trying to pull me down. Ain't gonna happen. That's me. I'm out. Take care. Love and light to you all. Mwah! I think I'm going to put some FM Manager on. Take care. Thanks again for watching. This has been BWTM Sports.